The moment the human stripped off his shirt and cannonballed into a glowing pit of jelly, Lissa Vey clutched her data tablet like it was a lifeline. She didn't flinch. Zenthari weren't supposed to. But her silver-blue eyes widened, just slightly, betraying her disbelief. That's illegal, she muttered under her breath. Captain Ryan Dax popped his head up from the jelly pit, beaming. Only in 34 systems, he called back, slick with bioluminescent goo. Good thing we're not in one of them. He floated lazily to the edge, effortlessly climbing out. The way he shook the jelly from his arms and raked a hand through his damp hair didn't help her discomfort. His body was lean, marked with faint scars, records of some violent human history. He moved with too much confidence, too much warmth. Emotion, uncontrolled, unmeasured. Lissa took a cautious step back as he approached, dripping with rebellion and amusement. I was assured this tour would be regulated, she said flatly. You're violating 3 interspecies emotion containment clauses. And possibly 1 indecency statute. Ryan laughed. Not a polite chuckle. A full-bodied, reckless sound that echoed off the sleek walls of the recreation dome. Oh, you poor thing, he said, handing her a towel. They really don't teach humor on Zenthari, do they? We find it inefficient, Lissa replied, dabbing her hands even though she hadn't touched a thing. Emotional disruption reduces processing ability by 16%. It endangers clarity. You know what else endangers clarity, he said, lowering his voice, a life without dessert. He turned and waved her forward toward a glowing door marked Zone 2, Culinary Curiosities. Lissa hesitated, glancing over her shoulder. The ship was vast, clean, and humming with ambient peace, but here in this dome of mischief everything felt volatile. Still, she followed. Inside, holographic vines wrapped around floating desert islands. Hover trays circled above, each holding items with suspicious colors and suggestive shapes. A human child laughed in the distance as whipped cream sprayed into the air. This violates Article 17, excessive sugar emissions, Lissa began. Relax, Ryan said. Nothing here can kill you. Except overthinking. He plucked a small cake topped with something spiky and handed it to her. Lissa sniffed it, frowned, and took the smallest bite imaginable. The explosion of sweetness halted her speech. Her posture stiffened. Her pupils dilated. Oh, she said quietly. Oh, Ryan echoed, grinning. She composed herself instantly. It's biochemically destabilizing. Exactly, he said. That's what makes it fun. He took his own bite and leaned against a floating bar counter. You've been briefed on human recreational behavior. You've memorized the reports. But those data sheets don't tell you why we do it. They don't tell you how it feels. Lissa tilted her head. That's why I'm here. To observe. Confirm potential breach thresholds. Not to participate. Participation is the only way you'll understand us, he said. And if you're here to judge humanity, shouldn't you taste what we actually are? She didn't answer. Instead, she followed him through the next chamber, Zone 3, competitive risk, where humans threw glowing discs at moving targets. One player dove, caught the disc midair, and landed in a roll that ended in wild applause. Lissa's brow furrowed. They're deliberately creating danger. It's a game, Ryan said. They could be injured. Exactly. That's the point. She blinked slowly. You celebrate danger. We celebrate being alive enough to risk something. She watched another round begin, a young couple laughing as they missed every throw. One fell down. The other pulled them up, still laughing. Lissa turned to Ryan. They failed. But they're happy. They're not failing, he corrected. They're connecting. It was subtle, but something shifted in her, barely perceptible. Her jaw relaxed. Her gaze lingered longer than protocol allowed. Salvara's voice snapped through the air from a nearby comdrone. Captain Dax, you are under direct supervision. Zone 5 is off limits. Ryan exhaled. Of course it is. What's in Zone 5? Lissa asked. Dancing. Dancing, she repeated with suspicion, as though the word were a weapon. Rhythmic movement to music. In close proximity. Voluntary touch. Possibly euphoric bonding, he said. You'd hate it. I must see it, she said. His smile returned, a little too wide. Now you're starting to sound human. As they walked, the lights dimmed and a low beat pulsed beneath their feet. The floor shimmered like liquid silver. Humans moved together, swaying, spinning, some pressed close, others alone in their rhythm. Lissa froze at the threshold. Their bodies, they're touching without intention. It's chaotic. Unmeasured. Ryan stepped beside her. It's spontaneous. They could trigger hormonal fluctuations. Neural dissonance. Loss of containment. Maybe that's what they're hoping for, he said. She turned to him, visibly shaken. You mean to tell me that in your culture, emotional disorder is pleasurable? He leaned close, not touching her, but just near enough for her to feel the heat of his skin. Sometimes, he said, voice low, chaos is the most beautiful thing we have. Lissa stepped back. Her breath hitched. I need to review today's footage, she said stiffly, retreating toward the corridor. You will receive a full behavioral report by the cycle's end. He nodded, no longer smiling. Fair enough. But as she walked away, her fingers hovered near her lips, still tasting sugar. And she didn't delete the footage. Lissa stood in front of the glowing threshold marked Zone 7, Human Sensory Play. Her fingers hovered over the access panel, uncertain. She hadn't reported Ryan's violations yet. Not the jelly pit. Not the dessert. Not the dancing. It was unlike her. Hesitation wasn't a Zenthry trait. And yet, here she was again. Voluntarily. The doors opened with a gentle hiss. Inside, the lighting shifted to soft gold, casting shadows that moved like water. The chamber was circular, lined with floating lounges and pulsating cushions. A slow, melodic hum vibrated through the air. In the center stood Ryan, already barefoot, smiling like he knew she'd come. Didn't think you'd show, he said. I came to monitor further behavior, she lied. He didn't call her out. Instead, he gestured to a pod suspended midair. Sit. Try something new. She lowered herself cautiously. The seat adjusted to her posture, responding with subtle heat. A nearby tray floated toward her, holding a single square of chocolate, dark, glossy, unassuming. I read your file, he said, easing into the seat opposite hers. You were raised in a Zenthry Logic Academy. 16 years without visual stimulation or direct skin contact. Your kind believes emotions are neural contaminants. They are, she replied automatically. Then eat that chocolate and tell me what it contaminates. Her eyes narrowed, but she took it. Bit down. The texture melted slowly, coating her tongue in warmth, bitterness, and something else, something electric. Her eyes fluttered shut against her will. When she opened them again, Ryan was closer. Not bad, right? Lissa blinked. It's intense. That's what flavor is. That surge in your chest. That's joy. I don't require it. You didn't know it existed. She shifted uncomfortably, fighting the urge to lick the remaining taste from her lips. This dome encourages sensory vulnerability. It's illegal to subject interspecies guests to psychological disruption. I didn't force you to eat it. No, you tempted me. He grinned. That's called curiosity. She stood, flustered, but Ryan caught her attention again with a flick of his wrist. A new platform activated beside them, hoverboards, low and humming. Wanna fly? He asked. I am not certified for personal gravitation devices. That's a yes. Before she could argue, he stepped onto one and glided effortlessly across the space. She sighed, stepped onto the second board, and promptly wobbled. Ryan circled her. Don't fight it. Let go. Trust your balance. I am trying to. She lost control. The board dipped. She toppled forward. He caught her. Her body slammed against his chest. She froze. So did he. For a second, neither of them breathed. Ryan steadied her upright. His arms remained gently around her, longer than needed. Then, carefully, he released her. See, he said softly. No harm done. Her pulse was faster than normal. She stepped back quickly. That was unplanned. That's called spontaneity. Most fun things are. Lissa stared at him, unsure whether to reprimand him or ask what came next. He moved toward a wall panel and pressed a sequence. The lights dimmed again. The ceiling above them turned transparent. Stars bloomed into view, millions of them, stretching in every direction. It's a projection, he said. Simulated from Earth's night sky archives. It's what we used to look at when the world was still small. It's beautiful. You sound surprised. She didn't respond. He lay back on the cushion, folding his arms behind his head. After a pause, she joined him. They lay in silence under the starlight. Not speaking. Just being. You know, he said eventually, my brother used to build model rockets in our backyard. We'd launch them and scream every time one exploded. Sometimes they'd work. Sometimes they didn't. But we kept trying, just to feel that second of lift. What happened to him? He died in training. They tried to teach him to suppress instinct. He couldn't. So they medicated him. Then the side effects came. I'm sorry, she said quietly. He looked at her. Are you? She hesitated. I don't understand why you chase chaos. But I don't think you're wrong for doing it. He smiled faintly. That's the first nice thing you've said. They fell quiet again. Then the silence broke, an alert ping. A drone zipped into the dome, blinking red. Selvara's voice echoed. Captain Dax. Cease all unsanctioned contact immediately. This dome has exceeded emotional variance thresholds. Ryan groaned. Of course she's watching. The drone advanced. Lissa rose, adjusting her uniform. I'll handle this. Lissa. She stepped between him and the drone. This subject remains under authorized observation. No breach has occurred. Selvara's voice hissed. You're compromised. Lissa's voice remained calm. I'm learning. The drone hovered silently, scanning her expression. Then, it retreated. Ryan exhaled. You just saved my license. I didn't do it for you. He tilted his head. You sure? She didn't answer. Instead, she walked past him toward the exit, but paused at the door. That projection, she said, not turning around. Can we see it again, tomorrow? Ryan smiled. We'll go one better. I'll show you something you've never imagined. Then she left, and for the first time in her career, her step was lighter than protocol allowed. Lissa Vey stood outside Ryan's quarters, hand frozen above the access panel. She had told herself this wasn't personal. It was about clarity, gathering more data to fully understand the subject. But she hadn't brought her tablet. She hadn't requested surveillance clearance. And she hadn't told Selvara. She pressed the chime. Ryan answered almost immediately, wearing a fitted shirt and dark lounge pants. His hair was tousled, and for once, he didn't smile. I didn't think you'd come back. I had questions, she said, stepping inside. The room was dim, lit by warm amber panels. It smelled faintly of citrus and something smoky. Not synthetic, real. Her eyes drifted to the center of the room, where a small object flickered. A flame. You lit fire indoors. It's a candle, Ryan said. Harmless. Comforting. Primitive. Intentional. He motioned toward the couch. She sat, awkward but composed. He poured something into 2 glasses, red, translucent, fragrant. It's called wine, he said. Mild, non-lethal. Unless you overdo it. I don't consume neurostimulants. Just hold it, then. Pretend you're relaxing. She took the glass. It was warm in her hand. Silence settled between them, not empty, but full of tension that neither dared name. Finally, she asked, why did you leave the Space Navy? Ryan leaned back. After 10 years, they told me I had 2 choices, strip out the emotion or give up the uniform. I chose to keep feeling. Emotion compromised your performance. No. But it made them nervous. Lissa looked down. I used to believe emotion was weakness. An error in evolution. He watched her closely. What changed? You. She met his gaze. And I don't like it. He let out a breath. You think I planned this? That I meant to tangle you up in all this? No. That's what makes it worse. He walked to the console and tapped a command. The ceiling dimmed again, revealing the simulated stars from Earth's skies. But tonight, it wasn't the sky above this time, it was the aurora, waves of green and violet light rippling across black. Tell me what you feel, he said gently. I don't know. Start with what's real. She looked up. It's beautiful. But it makes me ache. That ache is called wonder. She sat quietly for a long moment. I was grown, not born. My memories begin at the academy. There were no songs. No color. No touch. He turned to face her. What do you want now? She didn't answer. Instead, she rose and stepped toward him. Her hands trembled slightly as they reached for his. Their fingers touched, first contact, deliberate, unregulated. Her breath caught. I feel pressure in my chest, she whispered. That's your heart, he said, voice rough. Her hands moved to his shoulders. I'm not supposed to do this. Then stop. She didn't. Ryan leaned in, slowly, giving her space to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met, soft, tentative. Not urgent, but searching. When they parted, she rested her forehead against his. Why do you make everything feel dangerous? She whispered. Because it matters. Then the door burst open. Selvara strode in, flanked by two enforcers. Her expression was ice. Step away from him. Lissa froze. Ryan didn't move. Don't blame her. I invited her in. You've corrupted a high-ranking official, Selvara snapped. You will face tribunal charges for emotional contamination and unauthorized intimacy with a restricted species. Ryan turned to Lissa. Say nothing. Don't make it worse for yourself. But she stepped forward. No. I entered by choice. I remained by choice. And I kissed him because I wanted to. Selvara's eyes narrowed. Then you are compromised beyond recovery. Ryan's voice hardened. You talk like we're viruses. You are. You spread disorder through pleasure. Through chaos. Lissa's tone shifted, steady, calm. Or maybe, we've been wrong. Selvara raised her hand. Restrain him. The enforcers moved. Ryan didn't resist as they cuffed him. You'll be transferred to orbital tribunal, Selvara said. And you, Lissa, are suspended indefinitely. Your genetic files will be purged. As the guards led Ryan out, he looked over his shoulder. I'm not sorry. Lissa watched him go, fists clenched. Her mind was screaming regulation, protocol, duty. But her heart, new, wild, awakening, was screaming louder. The tribunal hall aboard the Eclipsion was a cold circle of polished steel and silent judgment. No music. No color. Just rows of faces, Zenthari, Mechari, Androsynth, all staring down at one human man in restraints. Ryan Dax stood straight, shoulders back. His lip was bruised, but his eyes were steady. There was no apology in him. Not anymore. High Arbiter Selvara presided from the central platform, flanked by 6 counselors. Her voice cut through the silence like a blade. Captain Ryan Dax, you are charged with violating interspecies contact law, emotionally compromising a ranking Zenthari official, and introducing unregulated intimacy into a containment environment. Do you deny these charges? I deny nothing, he said. A low murmur rippled through the chamber. Selvara leaned forward. So you admit guilt? I admit this, Ryan said clearly. I showed someone how to feel something real. I won't apologize for that. You endangered the emotional integrity of a genetically calibrated official. Your actions could destabilize protocol across 3 quadrants. She was already destabilizing, he said. She just didn't know it until she met me. The murmurs grew louder. Selvara raised a hand, silencing them. We have recovered recordings of unauthorized interactions in zones 3, 5, and 7, she said, tapping a control. Images flickered to life above them, Lissa laughing as chocolate melted on her tongue. Her hand resting in Ryan's. The moment they kissed under simulated auroras. Each one now a piece of evidence. Ryan stood silent. There was no point denying what had been willingly shared. Selvara turned to the council. You see the threat. Emotional incursion masked as romance. We must set a precedent. Before the council could move to vote, a new voice echoed from the chamber entrance. I request speaking rights. Heads turned. Lissa Vey stepped forward, her uniform stripped of insignia, her bearing different, looser, warmer. She looked like herself for the first time. Selvara's eyes narrowed. You are suspended. You hold no standing here. Incorrect, Lissa said. I hold personal standing. The silence that followed wasn't surprise, it was tension wound tight. Selvara gestured sharply. State your intent. I came to speak the truth, Lissa said, voice firm. I engaged in every interaction of my own will. I participated not because I was manipulated, but because I was curious. Because I was human, even if not by species. Selvara scoffed. And now you've abandoned your kind? I've discovered them, Lissa said. You call what I did contamination. But what I felt was life. One of the counselors leaned forward. Are you claiming emotion is preferable to emotional discipline? I'm not claiming anything, she said. I'm showing you. She walked to Ryan. The guards tensed, but she was allowed to approach. She looked into his eyes, then turned back to the tribunal. I've been loyal to regulation my whole life. I followed every command, suppressed every instinct. But I never felt alive until he made me laugh. Until I tasted things I'd never imagined. Until I let someone touch me not with hands, but with heart. There was a silence no one dared interrupt. I kissed him. I loved it. I felt it. And I would do it again. Selvara rose. Then you are corrupted beyond correction. No, Lissa said. I'm finally whole. The chamber erupted in conflicting voices, some furious, others stunned. The lead counselor raised his hand. Enough. He turned to Selvara. These are uncharted matters. What occurred cannot be ignored, but neither can the clarity of her testimony. Ryan waited, tense. We will not enforce full tribunal exile, the counselor said. But Captain Dax's guide license is revoked. He is restricted from official contact with regulated species for one cycle. Ryan didn't flinch. Lissa Vey, the counselor continued, your access to Zenthri networks is permanently severed. Your name is stricken from the academy. She nodded slowly. You are free to remain aboard as a private citizen under Ecliptian neutrality. Selvara stepped forward. You allow her to walk free? The counselor looked her dead in the eye. She was never imprisoned to begin with. The judgment was done. Ryan was unshackled. Lissa didn't wait. She moved straight to him. Their hands met, fingers interlocking, publicly, without shame. As the council dismissed, Ryan leaned close. You didn't have to do that, he whispered. I wanted to, she said. You taught me what that means. He paused, scanning her face. What now? She smiled. Show me something else I'm not supposed to enjoy. Later, on the observation deck of Varela Prime, they stood alone, the ship silent behind them. The sky above was streaked with real auroras this time, charged plasma dancing across the atmosphere. Lissa reached for his hand. Do you think this is what freedom feels like? She asked. No, Ryan said. This is what love feels like. And this time, when he kissed her, she didn't freeze. She kissed him back, hungry, sure, alive. She was Zenthri by birth. But tonight, she was entirely human where it mattered most.